Welcome back to the Fox Robbins Business Show. Great to have you back, and we have a very interesting guest. You're going to really like to see Gary Sheehan, President CEO of Cape Medical Supply, and I'll get back to that in a minute. But he's going to be terrific, and a lot of people in the audience are going to want to hear what he has to say. I'm the host of the show, Bill Fox, and the co-host is none other than the effervescent, inimitable Cliff Robbins.
Mr. Bill, how are you?
Actually, you look pretty damn good to me.
Thank you very much. I'm being jolly. It is the Christmas season.
Well, you're getting ready to go to Hawaii.
Well, in February, right. I'm going to Hawaii to speak about managing and marketing a business in a difficult time. All expenses paid. They asked me if I'd like to speak in Hawaii, and it took a while for me to decide yes, but I did say, yeah, sure, I'll go.
But for today, you've got, what's that hat? What's that hat?
This is a Santa Claus hat. Don't you, here, would you like one?
Oh.
There you go. Throw one on.
Hey, here we go. All right.
You remember that show where I sang the Cliff's Notes? We got a lot of email over that show, you know.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. Well, in the spirit, this is Christmas time.
It is.
In the spirit of Christmas,
right?
We're going to do Here Comes Santa Claus.
There you go.
No. Santa Claus is coming to town. That's my
Santa
favorite.
Claus. Okay, that's your favorite? We'll do whatever favorite.
All right.
Yeah.
You ready?
Ready.
You better watch out. You better not cry.
You better not shout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming
to town.
That's enough of that.
Thank you. Anyway, oh, great. All of you and all of you viewers, please have a good holiday. And
Happy
we're going to have Fox Robbins show is in about a year and a half at this point.
Rolling along.
Cruising along, and we're going to keep going right into 2010, I hope.
We hope so.
And we're going to go to the standard part of our show. Regular part of every show is Cliff's Notes. And the idea about Cliff's Notes is that Cliff is a senior business advisor for the Small Business Development Center Network, and travels widely and counsels businesses that are either existing business people or people who are trying to start a brand new business. Mm-hmm. And so we take advantage of his knowledge of feel for the business market. And Coach, what do you got for us tonight?
Bill, thank you very much. Tonight I'd like to talk about something that actually happened to me a few days ago. And the subject of Cliff's Notes tonight is motivation. We recently, as a matter of fact, this past Tuesday, had our annual statewide luncheon and gathering at the in Sturbridge at the Public House. And at the end of the seminar, the meetings, where we had some wonderful speakers speaking about social media, we had Dr. Patty Green from Babson College talking to us about some cutting-edge business stuff. And the state director, Melinda's boss, got up on the stage and she announced that she would like to give a special award to somebody. And I was kind of half listening to it and wondering, gee, what's this all about? And suddenly she said, well, and he does a TV show with Bill Fox, and we really like what he's doing, the work he's doing there, as well as the work he does for the SBDC. And
that snapped you to attention?
That snapped me right up, and I said, oh my God, that's got to be me. And she called me up there, and she gave me a beautiful Swarovski crystal star. And
wow.
I mean, it really did touch my heart. And
I mean, for your Christmas tree.
For my Christmas tree. It's just gorgeous. It's about this big, and it just sparkles. It's a beautiful, beautiful item. And she said, I just wanted to give it to you, that you're a star of our organization. And she just said some wonderful, nice things. And I sincerely really appreciate it. The point I want to make here is that, we're in difficult business times. Sales are flat, sometimes down. Raises in salaries come from increased sales and increased profits. Businesses are not necessarily in a position to give raises to people. Let me tell you something. Raises are not, money is not the best motivator anyway. That is not the way you motivate people to work for you. There is a theory that's probably 35, 40 years old called Hertzberg two-factor theory, all right? It's hygiene factors, motivation factors, dissatisfiers. Hertzberg did a lot of studies and found that money is more of a demotivator than it is a motivator. The money has to be right. You can't underpay people for the work that they're performing, or they will be demotivated. But money is not a great motivator in and of itself. There are so many better things to motivate people to work. Good job conditions. The work itself, if it's interesting, exciting, you grow with it, that's a motivator. Your boss can be a motivator. He or she could also be a demotivator. If they're supportive, if they give you the proper tools to work with, those are excellent motivators. Money is not the only way. As a matter of fact, it's not the best way to motivate your people. And in difficult times, money's hard to come by. I know the SBDC's budget is flat funded now for the last few years. And as a matter of fact, we're proud to say the SBDC was one of the few things the governor did not touch. And because he's very happy with the work that the people for the SBDC do statewide. So don't think raises are the only way. Show your people appreciation. Do the little things that make people really want to come to work and do a good job for your company. There are a lot of other things that you can do.
That's great. Thank you for that insight. And we're going to bring on our guest tonight, who is Gary Sheehan, as I mentioned earlier. He's President CEO of Cape Medical Supply. My question to you is, do you know this guy? If you don't, you ought to get to know him. He's available. He doesn't hide out in his office. He gets out, and he's a community-minded person.
If you're a young professional in Cape Cod, you should get to know him.
Interested in the community at large in business. He's from Cape Cod originally, from Sandwich, and but he went to high school at Burke Mountain Academy. He said he was a expert skier,
downhill skier, competitive skier.
A dangerous guy.
Yeah, he is. It's crazy.
And he went to BC, Boston College, and then got his MBA from Suffolk University. He got immediately into sports marketing. That sounds pretty sexy. We'll have to.
That was a hot subject for the last 10 years.
He calls it experiential marketing with like Fortune 500 type companies, big companies. So he got a taste for a big business, which I think is not the worst way to get into small business either.
No, because the big businesses were once small business, and they probably did things right, which is how they got to be big businesses. Right. So learn how they did it.
So he did that. Then he took over Cape Medical Supply.
Right.
About 7.5 years total, and President and CEO for the last 3.5 years. Right. He's also, by the way, speaking of being participatory, in public affairs on the Cape. He's co-founder and board member of something called Young Professionals.
Cape Cod Young Professionals.
You'll have to ask him about that.
I will.
And
it's on my notes.
Huh?
It's on my notes to ask him.
Oh, it is?
I cheat.
You're sharp as a tack tonight, I'm telling you.
Sharp as a marble.
And Young Professionals has a mission to educate, advocate for, and engage young professional people.
Right in line with our mission.
Well, that's right, side by side, a parallel
Absolutely.
with Fox Robbins Business Show.
We want to keep those people here, create jobs here, so that they can live on Cape Cod and return to Cape Cod to work.
That's right. So you guys, I tell you, no fair running. Don't get up and run for the fridge. Don't grab the channel clicker. Just hang in there with us. We'll be right back in a second. Welcome back to the Fox Robbins Business Show, and thank you for not running to the fridge. And welcome to Gary Sheehan, President CEO of Cape Medical Supply.
Gary, how are you?
Good. How are you, Cliff?
Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me, Bill. Pleasure to be here, guys.
I'm glad you're here. I was very happy to hear that you were coming on the show. Yeah. There's a lot of things that we can talk about tonight. But first, tell us about your experience becoming the CEO, taking over. You're second generation, right?
Second generation.
Tell us about the history of Cape Medical Supply.
The company was founded by my mom and dad in 1977, founded it out of their home. And we exist to serve patients who require, initially it was home oxygen therapy. So folks who have difficulty would otherwise be institutionalized to deal with their medical needs are able to remain at home. And today we provide a wide range of products.
Lots of other
home
stuff,
oxygen.
Expanded out of the house?
Before. It's out of the house now. Yeah, we have 45 employees now. We've grown quite a bit. And home oxygen, CPAP therapy for folks who have sleep apnea, hospital beds, wheelchairs, a whole range of products. And we provide services from Provincetown to Boston primarily.
Oh, the Boston?
Home delivery, yeah. And then we have 3 retail locations as well. So it's an exciting company, exciting industry, interesting time for all of us in business in any sector these days.
Yeah, that's true.
It's your business to consumers, not this is not B2B, you're...
Correct. Well, we do have some institutional contracts with hospice agencies dealing with end-of-life care for folks at home, as well as skilled nursing facilities. So we provide some services directly. Primarily, it is business to consumer, and that when somebody's, the normal sort of supply chain for how we get involved with someone is that they're hospitalized for some sort of acute episode. Upon discharge, they require some level of equipment or care at home. A case manager will call us because we do things so well, and they have such faith that we're going to take care of things when people leave.
For you, yeah.
And we then provide that service and that equipment to the patient in their home. And it's typically billed through a third-party insurance: Medicare, Blue Cross, Tufts, Harvard Pilgrim, Medicaid, et cetera. So that's pretty much how things work.
How long have you been involved with the organization?
Well, sort of my whole life, as it was founded by my parents. But officially, I've been back for 7.5 years, and I've been running the show, as it were, for about 3.5 years. So really enjoyable the whole entire time.
I understand you've been expanding the business, buying some other locations. Where are your locations? Which ones did you start with? Which ones have you purchased? Give the audience a little history about that.
Yeah, so we were founded, as I said, in my folks' home, and
that was when
1977.
77.
1977. Yeah. So. Currently, we have locations. Our headquarters in Sandwich, the Sandwich Industrial Park, which is a great distribution location for us, right off Exit 2 on the Cape. We have easy access to the Route 6, as well as right over to Route 3 up into the Boston corridor there, so that works out very nicely for us. We also have a retail store in Hyannis as well as Falmouth. In terms of acquisitions, we in December of 2005. Actually, today's the 4-year anniversary.
Congratulations!
The most sizable acquisition we've done to date was Cape and Islands Oxygen and the Personal Care Center. We acquired those companies from Cape Cod Healthcare, the parent company of the hospital. They control the hospital system here on the Cape. So we worked with senior management there to get that done. Worked out very, very well. Retained some key employees, have maintained some great relationships with the customers, and it's worked very nicely. Subsequently, in 2006, we acquired a small company in Plymouth, Helpful Home Medical, and those are our acquisitions to date. And we've continued to post strong organic growth, primarily just because of the level of service we provide. For the last 3 years, we've been on the Inc. Magazine list of the 5,000 fastest growing private companies in America.
Cool.
Which has been a lot of fun to get to know some of the other folks in a whole number of different sectors. Actually went down to the event in D.C. this year and met a lot of good people down there. So we're having fun, growing the company, taking ourselves in new directions.
Good for you. It's
working
exciting.
Hard. It is exciting.
Well, hard work can be fun.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely, especially when it's positive results are coming out of it. Right.
Yeah.
Now, is this something you wanted to do, though? I mean, you were worked in the Fortune 500, atmosphere. I mean, bigger company atmosphere, and then came into, Cape Medical Supply, a lot smaller company.
Yeah.
Was that okay by you, or is that something that you wanted to do? Or
yeah, we never thought of it as a generational family business. I.e., we didn't grow up thinking I'm going to work at Cape Medical Supply someday.
Yeah.
The opportunity presented itself. I was a little leery initially, about coming back to Cape Cod. I was single at the time. And, you know, I wasn't really sure. My parents said, look, you don't have to commit the rest of your life to this. Come back, see if you enjoy it. If you do, that's great. If you don't, you know, you're our child first and an employee second. Came back, saw tremendous opportunity. We had about 12 or 15 employees at that point in time. Saw tremendous opportunity to take the company in new directions and really grow things. And we've been able to capitalize on that very nicely over the last 7-8 years.
But you have a knowledge about how bigger companies work too. I mean, having seen that.
Yeah. We've tried to institute some policies and procedures that'll help us, you know, get to the next get to the next step.
Well, but see, it's an issue that we talk about, and we've talked about in the show with Coach Robbins and I, that you can have someone who starts and operates a small business but has no concept about what it is to grow, what a bigger company looks like, and whatever. And if you don't, there are a lot of small business people who don't have that. You have a concept about what when a business grows, what it takes.
Yeah, and I think it's important when you're talking about a family business, particularly that second, third generation, whatever generation the company's at, that those people have an opportunity and responsibility to go out and work in a different environment, whether it's a small company or a big company, get some exposure outside of the family unit to the world of how a corporation, no matter if it's big, medium, small, how it works, how it develops, where it succeeds, where it fails, and then bring those positives, negatives, that learning experience back to the family enterprise. I think always helps substantially.
I know a lot of companies who have done a lot of family businesses whose children have graduated from school, and the families basically say, now go out into the world, get a job someplace, and work hard and learn. And
get some scar tissue.
Get some scars, as I always like to say. And then if and when you're ready, in 5 years or whatever, come on into the family business and bring new ideas and new visions. And that's what you've done with Cape Medical.
The key point there, too, for that next generation leader is that you're not going to wake up when you're 50 and say, I didn't make a choice to come back to this company. I graduated from school and I had to come back. You know, even if you're gone just for a few years, at some point you make a decision to come back. So you feel, at least in your heart, you've made that conscious decision to come back and do things that way, rather than I've talked to people who are a little bit older and who are in a family business and where they sort of got out of school and the expectation was that they came right back.
And did they want to?
And did they want it? But even more so, they may still have been leading the company today. But they lack that sense that they made a decision to do it, which I think is critically important.
And you made a decision.
Absolutely.
That gives you the the comfort level to go ahead and grow the company, and because you're doing it every day, you're shaving every day, saying, I can't wait to get to work. I
love it. We have a really, really good group of people, which makes all the difference in the world.
You solved the problem of being single too.
I did solve the problem of being single. I found I have to say hello to my wife, and she's at home. Our first child's turning 1. We're having all kinds of fun.
This is a great Christmas for you.
Well, he was born the 23rd, so it's technically our second Christmas with the baby.
That's true.
It's really our
first.
Excellent. So a lot of fun.
You mentioned your employees. As you saw Cliff's Notes tonight, I spoke about the construct that I call motivation. How do you motivate, keep your employees motivated? Just talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Interesting question. We actually last night had a dinner with 12 of our employees, a Caught in the Act of Excellence dinner. We have a program at the office whereby you catch people doing things right rather than catch them doing things wrong. So we obviously, as a healthcare organization and as a service organization, we aspire to a very high level of service, and that's what we feel separates us from our competition. We do things, programs like that add some fun to the workplace, and we have a board up, and we're constantly engaging people to help us solve problems. Very transparent, open book management with our people. A lot of long-term employees.
Book management before, let them know what's happening.
And engage them in the challenges we face. Some challenges that we talked about before. Maybe not specifically related to the economic downturn, but concurrent to the economic downturn with some Medicare reimbursement cuts, and of course the whole health reform debate. It leaves a lot of our balls up in the air. we've been very aggressive about engaging our employees in solutions and had some great success in people bringing forth ideas that we've been able to implement to improve
It's amazing the
company.
ideas employees come up with. The best ideas in any of the companies that I ever owned came from either employees or customers.
Yeah, it amazes me
And
that more leaders don't engage their team members in solutions. They
Amazing.
lock themselves in an off-site meeting and say, we got to, and get the whiteboard, and that's important, but if you don't have frontline people there, A, they're not going to buy in. B, you're probably not going to end up with the best solution to the problem you're trying to address.
They're on the front lines.
They're on the front. They're up in the trenches.
And they can give you answers to questions that you don't even have yet. And besides, as you say, if you want them to execute, a certain strategy or certain tactics, and if they're there creating it with you, they own it. They take ownership of it. So it's their baby as well as yours, and off they go. And boy, they're motivated. The work itself becomes important.
And I think everyone feels, at the end of the day, the job we do helps people stay at home. So there is it is a for-profit company, but at the end of the day, we have a very benevolent mission, and I think our folks go home feeling good about the work that they did, about the families that they've helped, about some of the situations that they've witnessed where folks are able to be at home and die in peace, as it were, surrounded by their families. And so there is a part of of the work that we do that is very deeply touching and important to the community. So
you use the word mission. We've talked, you and I, and tonight I'd like you to talk just a little bit about mission, vision, and values, how those are not academic exercises. You have taken it to a great level with your own employees. What have you done? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, a few years ago, we realized what was really different about our company, again, and I talked a little bit about this before, is the service and the sort of fabric of who we are as a company. So we decided, we need to sit down with everyone and really, we had a mission at that time, but we didn't own it. So we engaged a consultant who you've worked with as well on some things, and went through a process with our team to identify the mission, vision, and values of our company, and what it was our company stood for, what it meant to people sort of in their bones. And we've really spent the last few years really drilling that home. It's hung all over the company. Last year we did contests whereby people could recite the mission. They would get lunch, and it's really a part of it's on the bottom of all of our emails that go out, et cetera,
It's the guiding light for everybody in the company. It's the raison d'etre. It's the only French I know. All right. The reason for existence.
That was pretty good, Coach.
Thank you very much. Don't ask me to repeat it. Raison d'etre. It's the reason your company exists from the standpoint of the market, the people that want it. It's the guiding light, as I like to say.
It's the decision framework.
There you go.
If we understand we can't have a policy and a procedure for every situation. It's a very fast-moving company. We have a lot of things. If the decisions that people make remain true to the framework of the mission, we'll do very well by ourselves.
And you're empowering, another word we've talked about on the show many, many times, and I preach about, you're empowering people to make good decisions on behalf of the company.
But Coach, he's also got a 1-minute elevator speech too, right?
You got an elevator speech?
I think we gave it at the beginning, right?
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, Cape Medical Supply, I think what we do is provide the highest level of service and care possible for the patients who require our services, which is home medical equipment, continuous positive airway pressure, home oxygen therapy, and a whole range of other products and services. We deliver on that promise by executing day in, day out with the best people in the business. Pretty simple.
He's got an elevator speech. All
there you
right.
Go.
I love it.
Before.
Oh, you're good.
And they didn't even warn me about this beforehand. Bill just halfway through.
Put you on the spot,
it's pretty, well, you live and breathe it every day. It's not hard.
It's in your veins.
It's really not hard.
Right. So it's pumping through your heart and going through your veins.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Let's talk a little bit about the Cape Cod Young Professionals. You're one of the founders of it. This show is based on the premise that one of the economic problems of Cape Cod is that we need more good jobs on Cape Cod. We've got enough people making beds and serving people in restaurants that we need more good jobs on Cape Cod so that we can attract the young, best, brightest people here so they come back. A lot of people will grow up on Cape Cod, leave Cape Cod, get an education, and then there's no job to come back to. Talk a little bit about the Cape Cod Young Professionals, what your thoughts were, why you founded it, what's going on there.
We just celebrated our 4th anniversary, and I think a big
Congratulations.
milestone for any organization is
bet.
the succession. I am no longer on the executive committee, which has
Got
been
fired, or you
which
just
is yeah they
stepped
can't.
down
They
for
just
better
said, you
people?
know, we're tired of listening to you. It was time to transition.
It is,
We
absolutely.
we have
New leadership.
Aaron Madden is on as the new